Hello everyone. Today we are starting with lecture number 2 on chapter reproduction in higher and lower plant. In this particular lecture we will study about the sexual reproduction, the structure of flower and TS of anther. Then here the first topic is sexual reproduction. So what is mean by sexual reproduction? Sexual reproduction is a fusion of male and female gamete. So male and female gamete, they fuse with each other, and that fusion or that reproduction is called as a sexual reproduction. Here one thing you note down is all organisms only sexually reproduced after maturity. That means when organism reaches to maturity, then only they can reproduce sexually. Flower. Flower is a specialized reproductive structure of plant in which the sexual reproduction takes place. So flower is a very important specialized reproductive structure of plant, and in flower the sexual reproduction takes place. Now the function of flower. It carry out two important functions. One is to produce haploid gamete, and second to ensure that the fertilization will take place. So first function is to produce haploid gamete. Haploid gamete means the gamete which have half number of chromosome. That is called haploid gametes. And the second function is to ensure that the fertilization will take place. So these are the two functions. The typical flower consists of 4 different whorls. So there are 4 different floral whorls are present in the flower. One is calyx, that is also called the sepals. Then corolla, called petals. Androecium is a male reproductive part which produces stamens, and gynoecium is a female reproductive part which have carpels. So see this diagram. The calyx is a green part, then corolla is a brightly colored petals, then androecium is a male reproductive part which produces anthers or the pollen grain, and gynoecium is a female reproductive part which is present in the center. So in this 4 floral whorl, the 2 whorls are essential whorl, and these 2 essential whorl are androecium and gynoecium. Sexual reproduction involves 2 major events: meiosis and the fusion of gamete to form diploid zygote. This is one of the events. So sexual reproduction involves 2 major events. In this, out of these 2 events, one is meiosis, that is the reductional division, and the fusion of gametes to form diploid zygote. So one male gamete and one female gamete, both these male and the female gametes, they are haploid, and after the fusion they form diploid zygote. Okay, so first one is meiosis, and after meiosis the gamete formation takes place. That gametes are haploid, and that gametes fused with each other, that means male and female gametes get formed which are haploid. They fused with each other and form diploid zygote. And the second event is the production of genetically dissimilar offsprings. So it produces offsprings. That offsprings are genetically dissimilar. So though the offsprings are genetically dissimilar, naturally it leads to variation, and this variation is very important for survival of particular organism or the plant, or the survival of species and the evolution of species over a time. So The variation is very useful for survival and evolution of species. Now, the sexual reproduction is characterized by the fusion of male and female gamete. Then, after the fusion of male and female gamete, it forms zygote. And the third one is, after the formation of zygote, zygote develop into embryo. So, that is called embryogenesis. So, these are the three important characteristics of sexual reproduction. The sequential events that occur in the sexual reproduction are grouped into the three distinct stages. These sequential events are pre-fertilization, fertilization, and post-fertilization. So these are the three sequential events that occurs in the sexual reproduction: pre-fertilization, fertilization, and post-fertilization. The male reproductive wall of flower is called androecium, and the individual member of androecium is called stamens. So the male reproductive part of flower is called androecium, and the androecium has stamens, or the androecium is made up of stamens. So this is what androecium, and this androecium is made up of what? It made up of these stamens. So you are going to see the structure of stamen. So this is the diagram which shows the structure of stamen. Stamen basically it consists of three important parts: anther, connective, and filament. Filament attached with the anther by means of small part, that is called connective. So this is a structure of stamen. Now the structure of anther. So whatever shown in the diagram, it is immature anther. So this immature anther is represented by a group of parenchymatous tissue surrounded by a single layer of epidermis. So from this diagram it will get clear to you. So whatever which is shown in the pink, that is what? A group of parenchymatous tissue. So these are the parenchymatous tissues, and that tissues surrounded by epidermis. This is a very simple structure which is shown by the immature anther. We are going to study the structure of anther after development, or the fully developed anther. Anther is generally diathecous, having two lobes and tetrasporangiate. Now what is mean by this diathecous? Diathecous means the anthers having two lobes. So it is shown in diagram. The stamen is diathecous, that means here the anther lobe consists of two lobes. So it consists of two lobes and it is tetrasporangiate. Tetrasporangiate means it possesses a 4 pollen sac. Tetra means 4. So it possesses 4 pollen sacs. So it is tetrasporangiate. Now each monothecous anther consists of 2 pollen sacs. That means each anther lobe consists of 2 pollen sacs, which is shown in diagram. So this is the monothecous anther. This is monothecous anther, and this anther lobe consists of 2 pollen sacs. So these are the 2 pollen sacs. The heterogeneity, that means the differentiation arises when some hypodermal cell get transformed into the archosporial cell. So the hypodermal cell which is present in the anther lobe, this which is present in this anther lobe, that hypodermal cell get transformed into the archosporial cell. So some of the hypodermal cell get changed into the archosporial cell. So archosporial cell, these are the cell which leads to the formation of pollen grain. So some of the hypodermal cell get transformed into the archosporial cell. We are going to study the TS of anther in detail. That means what structure actually anther lobe shows. The archosporial cell divide into an inner sporogenous cell and outer primary parietal cell. So the archosporial cell divides into the inner sporogenous cell and outer primary parietal cell. The sporogenous cell form the sporogenous tissue. Each cell of sporogenous tissue is capable of giving rise to microspore tetrad. Parietal cell undergoes division to form the anther wall, and this anther wall consists of 4 layers. So you see it once again, the TS of anther. In this anther, actually the hypodermal cell, some of the hypodermal cell get transferred into the archosporial cell. Now this archosporial cell divide into an inner sporogenous cell and the outer primary parietal cell. This sporogenous cell form sporogenous tissue, and each sporogenous cell is capable of giving rise to microspore tetrad. Okay, and whatever the parietal cell is there, that parietal cells undergo the division and it form the anther wall. So this anther wall consists of 4 layers: epidermis, endothecium, middle layer and tapetum. So TS of anther shows, so this from this flow chart we will going to clear to you. The archosporial cell divides. It divides and form inner sporogenous cell and outer parietal cell. Now this inner sporogenous cell form the sporogenous tissue, and this sporogenous tissue are capable to produce a microspore, that is a tetrad, and whatever the outer parietal cells are there, that outer parietal cell form anther wall. Now this anther wall consists of 4 layers. So these 4 layers are epidermis, endothecium, middle layer and tapetum. So we'll study these layers one by one. Epidermis. Epidermis is the outermost protective layer made up of tubular or flattened cell. So this is what it's a epidermis. So epidermis is the outermost layer and it's made up of a tubular cell. So this layer is what? It's a epidermis. Now just inner to epidermis, another layer is there, that is endothecium. Endothecium is a radially elongated cell with a fibrous thickening. So this layer which is shown in pink is the endothecial layer. Okay, so these endothecial cells, these are the elongated cells with fibrous thickening. So outer layer is epidermis, then the endothecium. Now just inner to endothecium, the next layer is middle layer. Middle layer is made up of thin walled cell, and this thin walled cell, they are 1 to 2 layered, which may disintegrate into the matured anther. So this is the middle layer, is made up of 2 layer thick. This is it's a 1 layer and the another layer, which is shown in blue. So these are the 2 layer cells, 1 or the 2 layered cell which may disintegrate in the matured matured anther. So that means whenever the anther get matured, at that time this particular middle layer wall cell get disintegrate. So whatever the cell which is present in the middle cell, that all cell get disintegrate when anther get matured. Then the last layer is tapetum. Tapetum is the innermost nutritive layer of anther wall, and it is immediately encloses the sporogenous tissue, that is the microspore mother cell. So it is the innermost nutritive layer which is nutritive in function, and it encloses the sporogenous tissue, that is the microspore mother cell. So this layer which is shown in black, that is tapetum, and tapetum encloses microspore mother cell. This microspore mother cell give rise to the pollen grains. So the tapetum is innermost layer, and this layer is nutritive in function. So we are going to see all these layers in single diagram. So this is the diagram which is labeled with all layers. This one is epidermis, which is outer layer. Then inner to that endothecium is there. Then just inner to endothecium middle layer is there. That is 1 to 2 layer which is disintegrate at the time of maturity of anther. And inner layer is tapetum. It's a innermost layer which is nutritive in function, and it encloses the microspore mother cell. So it's a taste of anther. Thank you so much.